One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Monday morning. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their Monday morning, man. Great to see everyone up in the building. Shout out to all of you legends. You guys, we got not an incredible amount of shit going on in the world this compared to what we've been seeing in the last, the last 3 months. I see right now it's a little bit more tame, even though there's still a lot going on, but compared to what it's been, this is a little bit more chill, but there's still a lot going on. We're going to get through it. We have some stories here that we're going to be going over, such as Trump and Putin meeting this week. They plan on meeting Friday, so we'll go ahead and see if that happens. Of course, hopefully it does happen. I think it would be a good thing. And then we have Israel war updates. Not only there was an Israel Defense Forces eliminates terrorist in Gaza, but that terrorist was an Al Jazeera in the media, was a reporter for Al Jazeera, and so that definitely makes it complicated for damn sure. Then we have the not only that with the whole thing with Israel, but we have a couple of weird off things that have happened. Andrew Cuomo proposes Zoran's, I think that's how it's said, Zoran's law. This takes aim at affordable housing. And then we have Jim Lovell's legacy. This man was famed Apollo 13 commander, dies at 97. So, of course, they did a special tribute to him, and we're going to go ahead and check that out as well. We have a quadruple stabbing, leaving 2 people dead in Detroit. Shit. And then we have, last but not least, Trump is speaking at the White House and says, I guess he's going to be talking about some sort of announcement on crime in D.C. So the way they have that part titled is President Trump weighs National Guard activation to combat crime in D.C. So we don't have an incredible amount of craziness to go through, but we do have just a little bit to be able. This should be a tame Monday morning. Should be. That's what they say, right? Anyways, real quick, before we get all into it, man, make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Please consider, though, becoming a member starting at $2.99 a month, making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is the way that we get to speak freely. Well, we're 100% funded by you guys, man. So big W's to the Breakfast Club. Thank you, guys. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, and breaking news, man. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one, keep updated on my little highlights throughout the day as well. You guys, if you haven't joined the Discord, make sure you join the Discord. It's in the description box of every single video. And last but not least, okay, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all of these things are going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms that you guys can donate to. And I will, of course, read them out aloud and shout them out immediately. I've got the email ready to rock and roll. So if anything comes through, I will see it. We got Anson real quick saying, been sucking corn. Hey, man, I get you. I get you. It's all good, bro. We got Gary up in the building as well. Good morning, kind sir. Good morning, by the way, Anson. We got Brother Glare as well saying, I say Putin and Zelensky WrestleMania, a bear for the Ukraine. I like how he says it, for the Ukraine. Who wins gets the land. Hey, I get you, bro. I get you. That's awesome. We got Brother Code TV as well. Good morning, kind sir. Great morning show that you did this morning. We got Carney's Right as well. Good morning to you. We got Tiffany as well saying good morning, everyone. Hope everyone has a great Monday. Yes, I am hoping for all of you guys to be enjoying your Monday as well. Put in your pay-per-view. That's right. Make a whole bunch of money off of it. It'd be awesome. Who wouldn't watch two big, whatever country presidents, whatever you want to call them, go out there and wrestle a bear? That'd be awesome. I think people would pay a lot of money for that. We got Brother Steve up in the building as well. We got America Uncensored. Great to see you, by the way. Always appreciate you. Let's see here. We are pretty much all caught up with you guys in the chat. All right. So that's right. Brother Steve says, hit that like. Don't be a lame. Yes, sir. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the madness this morning. What are the chances of a Trump-Putin meeting in Alaska this week? And yes, this is the quote-unquote whatever neutral, it's not really neutral ground, but they are willing to meet. Both of them, they agreed to meet in Alaska. So that will be definitely interesting. It's on a geographical level, definitely somewhere there in the middle between Russia and the United States. So it makes it kind of an interesting dialogue there. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and get into this whole ordeal and see what's happening here.
All right, welcome back in here to Live
It's
Now.
supposed to be happening Friday.
Fox. I am Andy Mack. Let's turn our attention right now to the United States and potentially some politics as a potential breakthrough after weeks of expressing frustration that more was being not done to quell the fighting as President Trump on social media saying that he plans to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin, this happening next week in Alaska. This was the post on social media here saying the highly anticipating meeting between myself as the president and President Vladimir Putin of Russia will take place next Friday, August the 15th, in the great state of Alaska.
Now, I think I saw this a couple of days ago. I think it might have been even Friday that we were presenting news, and I was saying, that this meeting was going to take place. And then we found out that it was planned for the exact, next Friday, which was 7 days from, the last Friday. And so anyways, August 15th, this Friday.
Further details to follow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And this could be
Good morning, Brother Steve
major breakthrough in terms of the conversation between these two world leaders, as such a summit may prove pivotal in a war that had begun more than 3 years ago as Russia invaded Ukraine, led to tens of thousands of deaths. In comments to reporters at the White House before his post confirming the date, Trump suggested the agreement would likely involve, quote, some swapping of territories, but gave very limited information. Let's be joined right now by Will Weissert of the Associated Press, covering all of this for the AP. Will, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And we know that President Trump has said this meeting is on. No real word from the Kremlin. What's the likelihood that this actually happens?
Man, the Kremlin don't want to be telling their own people shit right now. What the fuck? What are you talking about?
Oh, I think it's pretty strong.
We got Mr. real quick. Good to see you, my man. Question for Mike. You think he wants a meeting not near Zelensky or the shitbag Democrats? Because they may ruin it. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they're not meeting in some sort of actual neutral ground, not being, the United States, right? I was thinking like something like Switzerland or something like that, right? That's what I was actually expecting, or something somewhere in Europe That's what I was expecting. I wasn't actually expecting it to be in Alaska. Now, regarding if it was going to be in the United States, yeah, I think that that is probably the smartest move to do it up there in Alaska for multiple reasons, not only on a geographical scale, but I think that it's smart for people to not, the general public not to be involved in this, to be quite honest. I think that I think people have the misconception of when there is a world leader and a different world leader, and you guys don't see eye to eye, those are the people you should be sitting down with the most. Those are the people that you should be fucking able to have those conversations with. And if you can't do that, then maybe you shouldn't be in an international seat, such as the president. That's what you're supposed to do. It's not only to run, of course, the United States from inside, but as well as outside, right? On an international scale. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and digress from that. We got Bree Rodriguez. Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning. Always appreciate you hanging out with us.
The president was very clear and didn't leave a lot of sort of wiggle room, and said that they're meeting in Alaska, which is on U.S. territory, which is sort of interesting. The Kremlin hasn't sort of confirmed the date and exactly the details, but it's hard to believe that we'd get sort of
that makes sense, Blair. I didn't know that, but that makes sense.
This far down the road and then not have any meeting at all. Now, whether the meeting will lead to a significant breakthrough still remains to be seen. There's still, a lot of ground to cover and a lot of sort of behind the scenes work that needs to be done before the actual meeting can start. But I would be surprised at this point if we don't at least see them meet in Alaska on Friday.
What's up, Miss Lotus? Great to see you over there in Florida. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
The president said.
You mentioned the location
and
being
Chaos.
especially
Great to
peculiar
see you again.
because I think we talked about a potential meeting between Trump and Putin at the Vatican for the death of the Pope, and that didn't come to fruition. What's particular about Alaska? Is there anything in your eyes that's special about that?
Well, I think it's significant that Trump, is proposing that this happen on U.S. soil. Putin came out early last week,
which I'm actually really surprised Putin's agreeing to do, but
said that he'd like to meet in the United Arab Emirates, and sort of he wanted to set the tone on where the meeting.
What's up, brother 13? Good morning, kind sir. Always appreciate you hanging out with us and gracing us with your presence.
Might take place, and now you have Trump coming out and saying no, it's going to be in Alaska. It's obviously it's not in Washington, but it's still on U.S. soil. Requires both leaders to travel, but it's still the fact that Trump.
Well, yeah, theoretically, Putin's going into enemy territory. Theoretically, now is he actually threatened by coming here to the United States? No, not with Trump. Definitely not.
Is imposing this happening on U.S. soil.
I don't think any world leader would be able to get murked here under Trump in that regard. I don't think so at all. I think he would make sure that he's got the same level of security that Trump probably has.
I think
or damn near close to it, at least using Trump security or whatever.
To sort of show that he's the one who's setting the term for the meeting.
Whoa, real quick, we got Slutty Gorilla Biscuits, my man GB up in the building. Man, dropping it like it's hot. I very much appreciate you, kind sir. Thank you for your contributions to the channel, man. It helps out immensely. People don't even realize how much it helps out, so I really appreciate you. And you're not only helping me out, you're helping someone else in the chat too, man. So, man, W's for GB for sure.
And I think that's why we haven't heard from the Kremlin, come back 100% and say they're ready to do this. I think we will. We will get there.
What's up, neighbor guy?
Will happen.
Good morning.
But I do think that the significance of that is basically just Trump trying to sort of set the tone and say, we're going to do this on U.S. soil, and that's going to show how important we're, how seriously we're taking these issues and how important this is for us.
Yeah, we know that.
So, brother Steve Posey, I did see that. I saw the whole ordeal there, and then their response saying, "Fuck the Hells Angels." I did see that. That whole ordeal, what I think about it real quick, just regarding this whole thing. A lot of you guys are bikers in here, so you guys will be able to know what I'm talking about. Others may not, so just take a back seat for just a second while I explain this. I think that what ends up happening is we have these low life scumbags that essentially have never lived the life, and then they get on social media, do some retard shit, they get views for it, and then they get clout hungry. And then they feel like they're literally invincible. Oh, dude, bro, it's just a joke. It's just a joke, right? We're on social media. We're just joking. You know, shit like that. We're just trolling. Yeah, you're just trolling the wrong people. Like, I don't understand. Like, why would these guys go out to Sturgis? Why would they do it? They're the most hated people in the whole, like, biker community in general. Why would you show up to a place like Sturgis and then you've been shit-talking all these clubs this entire time and you show up where clubs are showing up? Yeah, that's super smart. See, this makes me think not only are you now clout hungry and all this shit, but now I think that's what originally happened, and now they're fucking feds. That's what I think. I think they're waiting. Basically, they got, the federal government was like, hey, we'll put you under contract. Go. If you're willing to go openly do this shit with these guys and go on the internet and do all that shit, yeah. I think they're fucking feds at this point. But yeah, anyways, enough of that shit. King Blackout coming in with the gifted membership, by the way. He actually gave out two more. Two. Wait, hold on. Yeah, okay. I'm definitely counting right. Yo, King Blackout, my man. Thank you so much for... Man, I really appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for the contribution to the channel, man. And you're helping out other people in the chat, too, man. So I'm very blessed with you blessing us with that. We got Gorilla Biscuits as well dropping another one, bro. Hey, listen, man. Very, very honored to be able to do what we do over here, right? We got KP up in the building as well. Great to see you. I think them punks are feds trying to egg on the 81. Exactly, bro, and they're doing it openly. I hope people don't fall for it. You know what I mean? And the twins, the question is, who are the twins? Those guys are the Twin Outlaw Brotherhood, they call themselves. They're a sisterhood for sure. Or at least a gayhood. I don't know. But we got Motobomb up in the building as well. Great to see you as well. Twin Outlaws are idiots, all for views, and hide behind law enforcement. Yes, indeed. And they're willing to talk all this mad shit and then pull a gun when, it's time to go. Well, hey, what are you talking shit for? You know what I mean? You want to handle this shit like fucking men? You want to put them up, or what do you want to do here? It's insane, bro. It's insane watching what is happening. We got Bree Rodriguez as well, gifting out a membership as well. Thank you so much, Bree. Thank you for helping out us over here. We got Blackout as well, gifting out another one, bro. Yo, you are insane. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, kind sir. I appreciate you and Bree Rodriguez. Thank you for that. Slutty, I always got to say slutty. I got to say it. Slutty Gorilla Biscuits. Brother GB gifting out 2 of them, and then Blackout gifting out 3 of them total, man. Very appreciative. We got Prez up in the building as well. Good morning, kind sir. Great to see you.
So the proximity from Alaska to Russia there. This is a bilateral
Kissing brothers,
at this
that's right.
point between Trump and Putin. You said the likelihood of this happening, very good. Could it be a trilateral? Could we see Zelensky in there? And what would it take? What would it mean to have the Ukrainian president alongside these 2 leaders as well?
It's a possibility. Vice President Vance spoke today about the U.S. continuing to work to maybe make this a 3-way meeting with Trump and Putin, but also with Zelensky of Ukraine. There's also a letter that was circulated, signed by 7 NATO leaders and European leaders, sort of stressing how important it is that Zelensky be a part of these meetings. But Trump also said on Friday that he would be willing to meet first with Putin.
What's up, Christopher Collins? My man. Great to see you, by the way.
And then sort of see where things are with Zelensky.
Allegedly,
so
good
he
morning.
Basically suggested it wasn't a deal breaker to have a...
Hopefully you guys are all enjoying your Monday morning, by the way. I know we definitely are over here.
All 3 of them at the table. He'd be willing to sort of meet with Putin first and then maybe circle back with Zelensky. The issue is that, especially in Europe, they're worried that if Putin and Trump meet without Ukraine there, that could sort of marginalize some of the the demands that Ukraine has and is bringing to the table, and that could potentially weaken the Zelensky position. What Trump has said is that he's willing to meet, he's willing to talk, he wants this war to stop. He's tired of the killing. He says that almost every day. And he says that he can meet with Putin and sort of strengthen the U.S. position and still get a lot for Ukraine without necessarily having Zelensky there. But it's also a possibility. Look, we've got 5 days before they're going to sit down. That something could work out, and we could see all.
What's up, brother SNS? Good morning, kind sir. All right, so I think that this is enough talking about this whole ordeal regarding Putin and Trump. Is this going to happen? They're essentially asking. And yes, I think the likelihood of this happening is high. I do think that. It's scheduled for the 15th, I believe they said it was, which is Friday. Yes, Friday the 15th. So that'll be interesting. Of course, we'll be watching out for all of the interactions there. We're going to be reporting all of that as we go along. But no need to talk about something that is going to be happening in the future. I want to see the actual fact on the ground. That's what we do here, run off the facts. So anyways, let's go ahead and go into the next ordeal. We got Andrew Cuomo proposes Zoran's, I think that's how you say it, law taking aim at affordable housing. So let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys. Bam.
All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andy back. The New York City mayoral race is heating up even just months away from that November election as Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of the Empire State, on the attack with the winner of the Democratic primary, Zohran Mamdani, as he laid the groundwork for what he's calling Zohran's Law. And I want to put up this here, a post on social media saying, today I'm proud to announce that I will be proposing Zohran's Law, a law that will keep the rich out of New York's affordable housing. You say you freeze the rent, but for who? Rich people like you, hardworking, working class New Yorkers are being pushed from their neighborhoods. Let's build affordable housing that helps the people who need it. Under Zohran's Law, landlords can no longer rent vacant rent-controlled units to the wealthy. You are a rich person stealing affordable housing from the poor, and you're not the only one. It's past time we address this injustice. Let's build a New York that works for the people who need it. So obviously these...
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Just, yeah, totally villainize the ones that are fucking feeding you and your economy. I just don't understand it, bro. I don't get it.
There's some comments made earlier on.
I think that you're just catering to a specific audience that voted you in. I mean, I think that's what ends up happening, right?
Today, to give you a little bit more background, a live picture there in Washington, D.C. as the mayoral candidate running as an independent.
You're right about that, Steve. Absolutely.
Andrew Cuomo proposed Zohran's Law that would block privileged New Yorkers like Zohran Mamdani from living in rent-stabilized apartment. Again, going on the attack right now. On the attack against Mamdani since Friday over his apartment in a high-cost area. Of course, Mamdani, the Democratic Party nominee, proposed a freeze on rent of government-regulated apartments if he wins in the general election in November. So those are some conversations that would obviously, Zohran's Law, have to get through the state legislature in Albany first. Let's take you right now out to these comments from Andrew Cuomo at this Dominican Day parade celebrating Dominican heritage. Let's listen in to what he had to say from earlier.
This is a beautiful day, the Dominican Day parade. Dominican Republic is a beautiful...
Wait, what parade?
This is a beautiful day, the Dominican Day parade.
Did you say gay parade?
The Republic is a beautiful country. I've had a chance to visit. I've had a chance to work there. Santo Domingo, La Vega, Santiago de los Caballeros. When I was in the Clinton administration, I did a lot of relief work in the Dominican Republic. So it's a beautiful country, beautiful people. We're blessed that we have such a large Dominican community.
He is such a fucking politician, bro. It's insane. Real quick, we got Brother Slim, my man. Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning. I know that we definitely are over here. Shit.
Community in New York, and they brought their culture, they brought their work ethic, and they've been a tremendous asset to New York. So we enjoy celebrating them. They truly are part of the New York family. As we say in Italian, nosotros somos más que amigos, somos hermanos y hermanos, somos uno. And it's my pleasure to be with the Dominican community today. I also want to comment on the recent scandal.
Shit, real quick. You know what I'm going to do for you? I got it, bro.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. He said it, not me. Anyway.
About Assemblyman Mamdani. He lives in a rent-stabilized apartment. Rent-stabilized apartments are one of the main ways we provide affordable housing in New York. About 40% of the units are actually rent-stabilized. And these units are meant for people who have trouble paying rent, who can't afford rent.
What's up, brother GEG? Good morning, kind sir, over there on the West Coast.
Because affordability is a major topic. And Assemblyman Mamdani is a man who can obviously afford rent. He's a man of means, but he's living in a rent-stabilized apartment.
Brother Hardwire knows what's up. Good morning, kind sir.
Now, he has given two answers as to why. First, he said,
what's up, brother David?
That
Good morning.
He didn't know it was a rent-stabilized apartment.
Oh, shit. Bree Rodriguez fell for it. No, I'm just kidding. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for contributing to the channel. It really helps out immensely. Thank you. I have brainwashed thy. You know what I mean? Anyways, very much appreciate you. Hopefully enjoying your morning.
That is just not credible. Because he said he was a housing organizer, a tenant advocate. The first thing you do is you read the lease. And if you read the lease, you see it's a rent-stabilized unit. So that just doesn't pass the smell test. He then said he was going to move out. Well, he hasn't moved out. And in the meantime, as an assemblyman, he voted to give himself the highest pay increase, where the New York State legislature has now paid more than any legislature in the United States. And he hasn't moved out. So,
you know what's funny about this? You know what's funny about that, Steve, over there in Cali? At one point, I was paying like $4,500 a month for rent. For rent, mind you. Rent. Not owning anything. I actually was sharing the property at that point. Yeah, I was actually sharing the property for $4,200 a month. Yeah. Fucking brutal. 3-bed, 1-bath, little tiny fucking old home that was like split in half, essentially. Yeah. Fucking crazy. Yeah, tell me how that rent control worked out.
I'm going to propose, I've already proposed that New York City take over its own right to control its own housing. It's called the Erstat law. I think rent-stabilized units, when they're vacant, should only be rented to people who need affordable housing, not people like Zoran Mamdani. And I'm going to call it Zoran's law because it's an abuse of the system. And it's a fraud. And New Yorkers have a sixth sense where they can detect a person who's a fraud. And that's what's going on here.
Should there be testing for rent-stabilized apartments? Needs testing for that, you think?
When a rent-stabilized apartment becomes vacant, it should only be rented to a
Oh, they're definitely not going to be updating the fucking buildings at that point.
person who needs affordable housing.
Structure? Hell
You
no.
need to be renting rent-stabilized units to wealthy people. There's only 40% of our units are rent-stabilized.
How do you think they should determine if people are, deserving of it? How do you think they should determine that?
I can't even hear the question because you got idiots over there banging a big fucking drum cluelessly, by the way. Like, it's not even like badass. It's just boom, 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 boom. Like, shut the fuck up, bitch.
I wouldn't
Jesus.
terminate anyone, but when a unit becomes vacant, the way it did with Mamdani, I would not rent that apartment by law, except to a person who actually needs affordable housing. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're abusing the system, and you're taking a unit that should go to a person who desperately needs affordable housing.
All right, I've heard the Justice Department.
Yes, that's right. Trigger warning. You're absolutely fucking right. It's sad reality over here, man. Real quick, we got Brother Provo coming in with the $4.99, by the way. He says, thank you for dropping the 5 spot, by the way, kind sir. Very much appreciate that. I'm only voting for Mike Ball. Yo, W comment. I appreciate that, Provo. Thank you for that, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning. Great to see you, as always, kind sir. And listen, if you guys haven't gone over to Provo, he's one of my favorite content creators. You got to go over there and watch him, man. He's all out entertaining. Anyways, enough of that.
Do you think it's justified for the Justice Department to subpoena the Village?
I don't know what the facts horror of that situation. Thank you.
Yo, Glare.
All right, just listening.
That is fucking funny.
Cuomo criticizing Mamdani's rent-stabilized apartment, saying he's abusing that right, proposing Zohran's law to potentially kick people out in a similar situation as the former governor of that state, Andrew Cuomo, going on the attack against the Democratic primary victor. Of course, it was a major landslide for Mamdani heading into November for this New York City mayoral race. And as it heats up, we do know that Mamdani there leading the Democratic Party, earning that primary win, but also the independents, Eric Adams, the incumbent New York City mayor, and also the former governor Andrew Cuomo right there on the heel. So we're going to continue to follow that very closely here on Live Now from Fox there out of the Big Apple.
What does he say after the air horn, by the way? Okay, let me go ahead and give you a little background knowledge on it. Okay, so this, what he's talking about is, what is he saying in this? He's saying Don DeMarco. And Don DeMarco was a famous DJ, and that was one of his sound bites, you know. So that's a little history behind that, and why it's actually widely used. Anyways, yes. All right, we got Joseph up in the building, by the way, up there in Canada. He's one of our favorite snow Mexicans. Good morning, Mr. Ball, Lucy, Breakfast Crew, Bob, and can't forget the haters. Stop the cat.
Stop the cap.
Shit.
Oh, shit.
Great to see you, kind sir. I always appreciate you hanging out with us, by the way. All right, let's go ahead and bring up the next ordeal. Real quick, we're going to go ahead and give a little love to Jim Lovell's legacy. He died today at 97 years old. So he was on Apollo 13, and he was a commander. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and they have a little story on him. We're not going to play the whole thing, by the way, but because they're going to sit here and discuss, but we will get the tribute.
Back in here to Live now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. Of course, we're following the latest as American astronaut Jim Lovell, the commander of the 1970 mission Apollo 13, died earlier this week at the age of 97. NASA said on Friday, of course, known for that mission that was catastrophic but made successful in their return. The three-man crew returning to Earth. Hollywood superstar Tom Hanks reprised that role in Hollywood. For more on this, let's take you out to this story to talk about the life and legacy of Jim Lovell.
Yep, Lucy's right there.
All the training and rehearsing for Apollo 13 could not have prepared Commander Jim Lovell for the events that would await him and his crew in space.
There's one whole side of that big business.
He was born in Cleveland on March 25th, 1928. Walking on the moon was Jim Lovell's lifelong dream. He began pursuing it by learning to fly an airplane. Around this time, Jim was accepted to the Naval Academy at Annapolis. While there, he wrote...
Come on.
Stupid. His senior thesis on the then unheard-of topic of liquid fuel rocketry.
I can recall quite vividly when John Glenn first went into space back in February of 1962, and I was sort of envious that I wasn't also in the program.
Navy Captain Lovell finally got his chance. NASA selected him to be an astronaut. In 1965, Lovell and Frank Borman were launched into space for 14 days on the history-making Gemini 7 mission.
We had some 21 medical experiments, and basically to find out if man could live in space for 2 weeks.
After that, he commanded Gemini 12, along with co-pilot Edwin Buzz Aldrin. Lovell then went on as command module pilot and navigator on America's maiden voyage to the moon, Apollo 8. On this mission, the U.S. finally won the space race against the communist Soviet Union.
Apollo 8 was also a very unique flight, not just because it was the first time man had left the confines of the Earth and orbited another body, but
it was the race to the moon.
We did it right around Christmas Eve in 1968.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
We were from the Old Testament, the first 10 verses of Genesis, which is the basis of many of the world's religions.
Lovell marked his fourth and final trip into space as commander of the now historic Apollo 13 flight in April 1970. 2 days into the mission, an explosion in the oxygen tank caused the abrupt cancellation of plans for a lunar landing.
We heard this.
Real quick. I'm going to give you guys a little intermission here with the the moon topic, because I'm always fascinated by that topic. To me, it's interesting. But I want you guys to hear this out. It's fucking awesome.
You how the fucking moon landing was fucking bullshit, because everyone's telling you I was fucking wrong. Showed me. Yeah. So fucking explain to me. Here you go. The guy's getting off the rocket ship. Who the fuck is filming him? Who's filming him?
A guy?
How'd the fucking guy get up there if this is the first guy that's supposed to be on the fucking moon? A different rocket ship? I don't know. So they sent the rocket shit up there. He got off and he's like, all right, come on up now. I'm ready to fucking film. Are you fucking serious? Rocket ship? He's supposed to be the first guy on the moon. It's bullshit. The car. How the fuck did the car fit in that rocket ship? Look, how did that car fit in the rocket ship? I don't know. Okay, right. More bullshit. Then the guy's floating around with a big fucking cord to his stomach, and they're telling you that's his fucking, life support. Was it fucking feeding him through the fucking tube like a baby? They're bouncing around like a fucking jerk off. Yeah, watch. Let me show you. There it goes. Bye-bye. You know what? I'm going to stay behind. You guys go back to Earth. I'll fucking die up here. And how the fuck did he get the film back to Earth? Yeah, look, the fake fucking parachute. Hey, we're home now. What happened to the guy back on the moon? They just left him?
I guess so.
Yeah, everyone guesses they don't have any fucking facts. Bullshit. Show you how.
Oh, man. Such a great little clip there. Such a great little clip. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back into what we're talking about here. Just had to show that.
Sort of a thump or a noise, and lights started to come on. And I looked up at Fred, and I knew that he didn't know what caused it. And of course, then I looked over at Jack, and Jack's eyes were wide as saucers, and he obviously didn't know what happened either.
The world held its breath. People were riveted to television screens as the planned third landing on the moon turned into a human drama of survival for the three-man team.
It was a triumph in human energy and human ability to take an almost complete certain catastrophe and make it a successful recovery.
Lovell would become the first man to journey twice to the moon, never leaving his footprints on its surface. But Apollo 13 proved to be Captain Jim Lovell's finest moment as an astronaut.
Odyssey Houston, we show you on the main.
Poised and collected, he led his crew back safely home to Earth on April 17th, 1970.
I had the crew on the water, and we were safe, and the swimmers came over and knocked on the window. Then I knew that we were home.
After retiring from the Navy and the space program in 1973, Captain Lovell became a successful businessman. He also served on several charitable boards, such as the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation and the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum.
I look back on my own life, and I guess I was really lucky. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time with the right set of credentials. And here I am.
That would be the worst. You go all the way to the moon to not even step on it? Shit.
Scott, Fox News.
All right, thank you so much. And talking about that, what an inspiring story. You can only imagine what was going through his head in that moment back in 1970. You also can imagine what that moment might look like in this day and age. We do have this statement coming in from the family talking about the loss of Jim Lovell, from his family saying, "We are saddened to announce the passing of our beloved father, USN Captain James Jim Lovell, a Navy pilot and officer, astronaut leader, and space explorer. He was 97. We are enormously proud of his amazing life and career accomplishments, highlighted by his legendary leadership in pioneering human spaceflight. But to all of us, he was dad, granddad, and the leader of the family. Most importantly, he was our hero. We will miss his unshakable optimism, his sense of humor, and the way he made each of us feel we could do the impossible. He was truly one of a kind." Let's bring the conversation right now. Dr.
No,
Teasel.
we don't need to go into another dialogue there. We don't need to do that. We're going to get into now a little bit update on Israel. There is an update that there was an Al Jazeera journalist who got killed by the IDF, and they labeled this as they were taken out a terrorist. So anyways, let's go ahead and figure this out. I don't know the entire story yet, but I only briefly saw this in the media this morning, or yesterday, I think it was. I think it was last night. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyways.
As we begin our broadcast bright and early this Monday morning, we are following some breaking news as
yeah, I was, because I was up super late last night. That's what it was.
Relates to conflict in the Middle East. Take a look at your screen. This is the very latest video we are getting from our content partners as we are following a report from the Associated Press. I will say viewer discretion is advised as some of the images might be hard to watch. We are learning from the Associated Press that Israel's military targeted an Al Jazeera correspondent with an airstrike Sunday, killing him. Another
correspondent. That's an important thing. They're using correspondent here on purpose here. So is it a guy that feeds intel to Al Jazeera? Is it a journalist? I thought it was a journalist. Yeah, no. Who posed as an Al Jazeera journalist. Okay, so let me read this. An Israeli strike killed an Al Jazeera correspondent's life in Gaza on Sunday. Israel Defense Forces claimed the journalist was a terrorist. IDF post on X. Hamas terrorist Anas al-Sharif, who posed as an Al Jazeera journalist. So he posed as one. So he wasn't a real journalist. He was an actual Hamas terrorist, is what they're saying. Okay, understood.
Press that Israel's military targeted an Al Jazeera correspondent with an airstrike Sunday.
Good morning, by the way, Papa Penguin. Great to see you.
Killing him.
Good morning. Happy
Another
Monday.
network journalist and at least 6 other people, all of whom were sheltering outside the Gaza City Hospital complex. Officials at Shifa Hospital said those killed included Al Jazeera correspondents Anas al-Sharif and Mohammed Kerhia. The strike also killed 4 other journalists and 2 other people.
4 other journalists? What? So they killed 5 journalists total, but one was posing as a Hamas terrorist.
That information being confirmed to AP.
Or they were posing as a journalist for Hamas.
By a hospital administrative director. The strike also damaged the entrance to the hospital complex's emergency building.
He was a reporter and was for a long time, Steve says. Wow.
Both Israel and hospital officials in Gaza City did confirm the deaths,
wow,
which press advocates described as retribution against those documenting the war in Gaza. Israel's military later Sunday describing al-Sharif.
Yeah, she did say it like it was nothing, too. I bet you she doesn't bring up the other journalists again. I bet you she says it just that time, and then she's going to focus now on this incident and not bring back up the 4 other journalists that just got unalived. That's not cool. What the fuck is going on? That's fucking crazy.
As the leader of a Hamas cell, an allegation that Al Jazeera and al-Sharif had
There's got to be good reason for that shit, dude.
Previously dismissed, calling it baseless. I do want to share with you the very latest from IDF as we are following this breaking news on this Monday. Take a look at your screen, the very latest from Israel Defense Forces. They say, quote, struck Hamas terrorist Anas al-Sharif, who posed as an Al Jazeera journalist. Al-Sharif was the head of a Hamas terrorist cell and advanced rocket attacks on Israeli civilians and IDF troops. They go on to say, quote, intelligence and documents from Gaza, including rosters, terrorist training lists, and salary records, prove he was a Hamas operative.
I mean, shit. I mean, I'm a journalist myself. You know what I mean? I definitely wouldn't expect my own government or another government to murk me over it.
Integrated into Al Jazeera. A press badge is not a shield from terrorism, end quote. And as this was happening, Fox News correspondent Trey Yingst was actually out in that area. He says, quote, Al Jazeera correspondents Anas al-Sharif and Mohammed Kerhia were just killed in an Israeli strike outside of Shifa Hospital. As we're discussing this, I actually want to give you a live look out in Khan Yunis, Gaza, on this Monday morning, about 1 minute shy from the top of the 6 o'clock hour. We are learning this incident marks the first time during the war that Israel's military has swiftly claimed responsibility after a journalist was killed in a strike.
Well, just like Papa Penguin said right there. So they smoked 4 other journalists, and this is the only one that gets reported on. That don't smell right. No, it don't smell right. You're right about that. I think that was definitely planned out. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's, by the way, me on my thoughts. That doesn't mean it actually is YouTube, just saying. Anyways, we're moving on into now a quadruple stabbing leaves 2 dead in Detroit. So I guess there were 4 people that were fucking stabbed. But in Detroit, we can't be surprised, man.
Take a look at your screen. We're learning this morning 2 people are dead. 2 others have been hospitalized after a multiple stabbing on Detroit's east side. Police say a person of interest has been identified, but No arrests have been made. We want to check in now with Fox 2 Detroit's Robin Murdoch. She joins us live with the latest developments. Robin, good morning.
Good morning, Janae. Just a sad set of circumstances that investigators are currently looking into. And I got to tell you, over the past several weeks, I have covered multiple shootings in which multiple people have been struck. This is the first time that...
Yo, real quick, we got Project VO Pod. My man, Jake. Always appreciate you hanging out with us, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far. Definitely know that we are. If you guys haven't checked out Project VO Pod over there, make sure you guys go over there and sub up. He's also a fantastic YouTuber, man. Go check him out. And debater, by the way.
In many weeks that we have talked about a stabbing in which multiple people were stabbed. In this case, we're talking about 4 people who were stabbed. Now, police were called to the 18,500 block of Fleming. This is near 7 Mile and DeQuinder on the city's east side, as you mentioned, about 10 o'clock on Saturday night for a report of a stabbing. When they got to that location, though, that is when they discovered that 4 people had actually been stabbed at a pool party. And police say it was an argument that apparently broke out at that party over a woman that led to the...
neighbor guy was right on the money. Said it was over some tramp and said, let me bring that back there. He just said it.
Argument that apparently broke out at that party over a woman that led to...
Man, motherfuckers stabbing each other over a woman. This is like, I mean, it's actually typical. It's actually pretty fucking typical. Like, what men will do for women, bro. It's fucking insane. We got Chatting with Stacks up in the building, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning as well. Another fantastic YouTuber, by the way. Covers a lot of the biker news, so make sure you guys go over there and sub up as well, man. He's fantastic.
A deadly encounter. Now, police have not identified the victims, but they will say a man in his 30s as well as a woman in her 20s were both pronounced dead at that scene. 2 other victims in their 30s remain in the hospital at this hour. One of them is listed in critical condition. The other last listed in stable condition. Again, police have identified a person of interest, but they are continuing to try and track that suspect down. Take a listen to the deputy chief who was out at that scene with more on the surge of crime that investigators are dealing with right now.
Over these last couple of days, we've had just this rash of violence that's just unexplainable. This again is one of those incidents. We've had 4 people who were stabbed because someone said something or someone may have touched somebody. And that is not how we deal with any type of conflict. We have to do better. We have to do better.
True.
And we have heard investigators say that over and over the last several weeks.
Oh, wow, 13. He says steel mill in Pennsylvania just exploded about an hour ago. Damn. That's fucking crazy. I'll refresh on my end, by the way. Because after this, we have a Trump. I guess he's speaking at the White House over there with a lot of the cabinet there, and is talking about combating crime over there in DC and Way's National Guard activation, all that shit. So anyways, back to this.
That people need to do better. Now, we are hoping to get an update from investigators at some point today concerning this quadruple stabbing and the person of interest. Again, at last check, they were still searching for that male suspect. They had not released a name.
Papa, I gave you I gave everyone my thoughts on that whole ordeal earlier on the stream. Right before you actually came in, I actually made the screen big and someone asked me the question. I think Steve Posey asked me the question. And then I gave my thoughts. So, yeah.
Not release a description, but of course, if anything changes, we'll be sure to post that information online. For now, we are live here in Detroit. I'm Robin Murdoch. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Robin, thank you so much for the detailed update. You and your team, y'all stay safe as you all work to keep us informed. We'll be keeping a close eye out for a potential press conference this morning as well for further information. Thank you so much.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on into Trump and now what he is speaking on as of just, let me go ahead and bring this. Let me see how long. It's about only 20 minutes ago. All right, so I've got it right here lined up. Let me go ahead and bring this up. Fairly live, fairly.
Wow. I've been up here a lot. I've never seen a crowd like this. I think we need a ballroom, and that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom.
We know it's going to be 90,000 square feet. We do know, and $200 million, I think.
Really?
But hey, it's donated money. It's not taxpayer money. Got to give them credit on that.
A lot of people, most I've ever seen in this room. And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section...
Real quick before he say, I'll bring it back a little bit, but we got Brother Bob up in the building, up there in Canada, my man. Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning.
We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now. The murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City.
Wow, real quick. We got Bob that just broke 1,000 subscribers on his channel, man. Good for you, man. I love to hear that. That's what's up. Super psyched for you. I remember how that feels, man. And I've every 500 I celebrate internally. You know what I mean? I'm a geek that way, but 1,000's a big deal. You know what I mean? It really is on YouTube. Most YouTubers, most people will never have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, just so you know. That's the majority. You are definitely now up there in a different bracket, which is awesome, man. Congratulations.
Some of the places that you hear about as being the worst places on earth, much higher. This is much higher. The number of car thefts has doubled over the past 5 years, and the number of carjackings has more than tripled. Murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years. Can't be worse. Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it. Just like we did on our southern border. Nobody comes to our southern border anymore. 3 months in a row, we had zero. I don't know if that's right, but the people that do the work, it's a very liberal group of people, actually, and they actually said zero for the last 3 months. Nobody thought a thing like that was possible. And, when you say take a look at numbers, I just saw some charts. These are different cities throughout the world. Red is, okay, the red is a place called Washington, D.C. Look at these. Baghdad.
That's right, Brother Frank. We're running quick because Trump likes to talk a little slow. You know what I mean? He likes to speak like sometimes he is smoking that 420. So I got to speed him up because he is a little bit slow in his speeches and stuff like that. But hey, we make it all right.
We doubled up on Baghdad, Panama City, Brasilia, San Jose, Costa Rica, Bogota, Colombia, heavy drugs. Mexico City, I mentioned, Lima, Peru, all double and triple what they are.
Sure
so do you
does,
want to
Bob.
places like that? I don't think so. And I think the people in this room, if you wrote correctly, you'd see, look at the kind of numbers we have. D.C., 41 per 100,000, number one that we can find anywhere in the world. Other cities are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as that. Is that where you want to live? The reporters of the world? Juvenile offenders and crimes against persons, as they say. It's getting worse. Not getting better, it's getting worse. And we had a recent indication.
Yeah, and they just said that there's a 23%, something like that, 23% reduction in violent crimes in Washington, D.C. And Trump is like, nah, that's what he's shown right there in that graph. He's like, no, they're saying that it's lowering, but actually it's going up. That's what he's saying right there, by the way.
There was a story
little side note there
about a man who was just left. He quit because he was asked to do phony numbers on crime. And we're going to look into that. I think Pam is going to be looking into that. But he was asked by the city, I guess, that we don't want to show the real numbers. Let me do numbers so it looks like it's going down. Not going down. And under Biden, it was a disaster. And nobody did anything about it. We're going to do things about it like you wouldn't believe. Every American has a constitutional right to be able to access and petition their government.
Yes, I saw that bloody image of the kid that was a Doge employee. I did see that whole ordeal, and he was bloodied up, but he fought back, or whatever the case is, and people commended him for that. Whatever the case is, I don't know the entire thing, but I did see the picture of the guy basically sitting there on the street, all bloodied the fuck up, sitting there or whatever. We got Gunpowder Nitro up in the building. Good morning, kind sir. Great to see you, by the way. Yeah, he did say Brasilia. He did say that. I don't know if he was talking specifically about Brasilia or if he meant to say Brazil. I don't know. Let's see. They just fired a higher-up in the DC PD for cooking the books on crime stats. Oh, shit. They just fired up a higher-up in the DC PD. That's crazy, bro. Real quick, we got Brother Beezer, old Beezer Geezer up in the building. Great to see you, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. I know that we are. We definitely are over here. And real quick, Anson, Pam Bondi looks like she's used the same facial moisturizer as Lily Phillips. Oh my fucking God. Total degen power hour over here. Oh shit! Oh shit! Shit. All right. Back to
in safety, and countless federal officials and employees likewise have the right to carry out their jobs in peace without being shot. As you know, I lost a very good person.
That'd be cool,
Blair.
Blair.
While ago was shot, waiting for his wife. He was in the car. They robbed his car. They shot him. They killed him like it was nothing to it. She was walking to the car. It's a horror show. This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government and is a threat to America. Really, it's a threat to our country. We have other cities also that are bad, very bad. You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this. And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with D.C., and we're going to clean it up real quick, very quickly, as they say. Days ago, a former member of the Doge staff was savagely beaten by a band of roving thugs after defending a young woman from an attempted carjacking. He was left dripping in blood. He thought he was dead with a broken nose and concussion. Can't believe that he's alive. He can't believe it. In June, a 21-year-old congressional intern was
here goes
tragically killed after being hit by a stray bullet in a drive-by shooting. A former Trump administration official named Mike Gill, fantastic person, was murdered last year in cold blood in a carjacking blocks away from the White House. We all knew him. Great person. Waiting for his...
We haven't heard shit on, other than the court denied to give out the transcripts, which Trump knew they were going to deny doing that. They knew they were going to shoot that down. They knew that. He knew that. His administration knew that. Yeah, subpoena that. Well, get that shit. Get the transcripts. Oh, well, the court says we can't get them.
His wife.
And that's where it left off.
As she was walking to the car. A Democrat congressman was also carjacked at gunpoint not far from the Capitol. And in 2023, an aide to Senator Rand Paul was stabbed in the chest and head by a demented lunatic as he walked down the street, just absolutely for no reason. Horrifically, last July 4th weekend, a 3-year-old girl was shot in the head and killed while sitting in a car near the Capitol.
That's their audio, by the way, not ours.
It's becoming a situation of complete and total lawlessness. And we're getting rid of the slums, too. We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live. Caravans of mass youth rampage through city streets at all times of the day.
Mark, that's
ATVs,
funny.
Motorbikes. They travel pretty well. Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews. Just this past weekend, gunfire through...
Yo, where is the fucking audio engineer on the... you have one job. Make Trump and anyone that speaks up there sound good. That you got one job, homie. It is not that crazy complicated, by the way. Real quick, little side note. We got 13 coming in saying we got 35 viewers, 40 likes. W chat, you're amazing, and we appreciate you joining us. You all rock. Absolutely, big W to you guys. Absolutely. I very much appreciate your guys' engagement here, man. Very much appreciate
through, and you saw that, the Navy Yard.
And it's
I saw
free.
it this morning. They saw that they fought back against... See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them, because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night. And they're not going to be fighting back long, because I've instructed them, and told them whatever happens, they love to spit in the face of the police as the police are.
Well, you know what's funny about that, Mr. is I know the actual stats on audio. Audio is incredibly important. People don't realize, some people will only focus on getting a camera, let's say, for video. No, you need good sound, bro. Like, you need to have good sound. The biggest reason people either click off of something or whatever, it's not visually, or it's not on an audible level, it's not pleasing to the ear. You know what I mean? And so people click off real quick. There's a lot of people, majority of people don't even watch what's actually happening. They're usually listening. You know what I mean? So that's something that I always keep, into account. I hold all of that. And not only that, but I'm also a musician. So I have that kind of, OCD about me, I guess. But there's actual stats why I back my shit with stats.
Standing up there in uniform, they're standing, and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face, and then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit, and we hit. And they can hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years.
Thank you, Brother Stacks. We'll see you on the flip side.
And they're told, don't do anything under any such, so this, and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want. This dire public safety crisis stems directly from the abject failures of the city's local leadership. The radical left city council adopted no cash bail. By the way, every place in the country where you have no cash bail is a disaster. That's what started the problem in New York, and they don't change it. They don't want to change it. That's what started it in Chicago. I mean, bad politicians started it, bad leadership started it, but that was the one thing that's central, no cash bail. Somebody murders somebody, and they're out on no cash bail before the day is out. We're going to end that in Chicago. We're going to change the statute. I spoke with Pam and Todd and everybody. We're going to change the statute, and I'm going to have to get the Republicans to vote because the Democrats are weak on crime. Totally weak on crime. They don't know why. They want to stop because they get mugged too. But we're going to change no cash bail. We're going to change the statute and get rid of some of the other things. And we'll count on the Republicans in Congress and Senate to vote. We have the majority, so we'll vote. We don't have a big majority, but we've gotten everything, including the great, big, beautiful bill. Got that done, and that's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to people in this country. They're starting to figure it out, how good it is. Biggest tax cut in history. So many things. But we'll be able to get that done. So, Todd, if you and Pam can draw up.
Why don't you talk about any of the pork that's in there, though? Why don't you do any of that?
It's working with the people. I'll get it passed. We'll get it passed with Republicans. Probably won't get, think of this, probably won't get one Democrat vote because they have no idea what they're doing. That's why they want men playing in women's sports. That's why they want transgender for everybody transgender.
Oh, boy.
And they just got walloped in an election, in a landslide, and they haven't changed one thing. I saw the other day that certain gentleman who was a very well-known politician, Democrat, was fighting like hell that men should be allowed to play in women's sport. They just don't get it. They said it's an 80-20 issue, and I think it's a 97-3 issue, and I don't know who the three are. I've never heard anybody nobody's ever come up to me, sir, you have to let men play in women's sports. You have to do it, sir. Nobody's ever approached me. I don't know where this issue even comes from. Never seen anything like it. But they turned our nation's capital into a sanctuary jurisdiction. That's the other thing. We have to get rid of sanctuary cities as quickly as possible. We're going to do it, too. We have to. Because it's sanctuary for criminals. Releasing illegal alien gang members onto the streets in 2022, nearly 70% of criminals arrested in Washington went unprosecuted. That's not going to happen with the group we have standing aside and standing behind me. And at the Metropolitan Police Department, it's now reached a small number relatively compared to what it was, but it's thousands of people. You know, we have thousands of police. I was told today, sir, they want more police. I heard a number, 3,500 police. That's a lot of police. 3,500. I thought they were going to say, we only have 30 policemen or women. He said, we have 3,500. We need more. You don't need more. That's so many. I never heard. That's like an army. How could you need more than 3,000? It just happened 2 minutes ago. Sir, they requested more police. Oh, what do they have? About 3,500. I said, 3,500? This is not a big area. It's ridiculous. What you need is rules and regulations, and you need the right people to implement them. And we have the right people here, that I can tell you. Look at the border. Biden said, there's nothing you can do. Kamala was the border czar. She never called one of the Border Patrol agents who were great. ICE is great. Never spoke to anybody. Never went there. But she was the border czar. And everybody said it was impossible to fix. I fixed it in 3 months. No, really. I fixed it the first week, but really fixed it over the last couple of months. And I mean, literally to a point where, as I said, 0 illegals entering our country in the last 90 days. Pretty amazing. It's time for dramatic action. We're going to do the same thing over here. It's going to be a very safe city very soon. We're not looking to take years, because a lot of people die in years. And we've got incredible people in this country, except we have to allow them to do their job. And that we will deliver like nobody's ever delivered before. I actually think it's easy. You know, if you're competent, it's easy. If you're incompetent, it's impossible. But I'm very competent. Last week, my administration surged 500 federal agents into the district, including from the FBI, ATF, DEA, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Secret Service, and the Department of Homeland Security. You know, a lot of nations, they don't have anything like that. They got some police, and they're rough police. They don't have DEA, ATF, FBI, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, Secret Service, Department of Homeland Security. They got some police, but they're rough police, and they do their job. They don't have crime. We're not going to have crime either. They made dozens of arrests, and that's what starts to happen. Again, cashless bail. Watch what we do with that. Today, we're formally declaring a public safety emergency. This is an emergency. This is a tragic emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. I don't like
You're not going to Russia. You're going to Alaska, meeting with Putin.
Up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting.
I know he didn't mean it that way, but that's what he said.
This once beautiful capital was, with graffiti all over the walls. It's another part of it, by the way, because we're talking about safety, but we're also talking about beautification. We have the most beautiful, potentially, capital in the world. We always had. But people come from Iowa, they come from Indiana, they come and then they get mugged. Not going to happen. Keep coming, because by the time you get your trip set, it's going to be safe again, and it's going to be clean very quickly. We're going to replace the medians that are falling down all over the roads. We're going to replace the potholes. We're going to put a nice new coat of asphalt over the top. No, we don't have to rip the road out and spend 7 years building a new road because they cut everything. Because some designer said, well, we need a quarter of an inch more turn for safety reasons.
Yep, until we bought that shit.
No, we're going to do it right. We're going to get it done quickly. So today we're declaring public safety emergency in the District of Columbia. And Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department as of this moment. And I'll be making the appropriate notifications to Congress and to the mayor, our new DEA administrator, who's one of the top in the country. He better be Terry, if you're not, I'm going to get rid of you so fast. Terry Cole. Terry, thanks. Very good. We just got him. Most highly recommended person. And you'll be designated as the interim federal commissioner of the Metropolitan Police Department. Okay? And you run them tough. They're good. You have a lot of good people. You have people that shouldn't be there. You also have people that shouldn't be there. They got in there because of woke. But you have a lot of great police. And those people are the ones that want to help you. This city will no longer be a sanctuary for illegal alien criminals. We will have full, seamless, integrated cooperation at all levels of law enforcement, and we'll deploy officers across the district.
That should be in all of the land. It shouldn't just be there. It should be everywhere. I mean, I guess you got to start somewhere, but why not have this planned out for all of it?
With an overwhelming presence. You'll have more police, and you'll be so happy.
I don't need a police state in that aspect. I really don't need that. But I don't need a motherfucker squatting on my property and he have some fucking sort of right over me on my property, motherfucker. No, like we're not gonna have these sanctuary cities, and truthfully, I don't know why I don't know why something hasn't been done about it. I don't know why they haven't. There's been threats that we're gonna defund those sanctuary states that are hosting those sanctuary cities, but nothing's actually been done about it.
You're being safe when you walk down the street. You're gonna see.
But I don't need a police overtake of the streets either. I don't need that either.
Police, or you're going to see FBI agents. We're going to have a lot of agents on the street. You're going to have a lot of essentially military, and we will bring in the military if it's needed, by the way. We're going to have National Guard. But Pete Hegseth will tell you about it. We will bring in the military if needed. People say, oh, that's so terrible. He's going to bring in, it's been used many times over the years. I don't think we'll need it. I think we've got so many great people, including the people that are in the police department with proper leadership. They'll immediately begin massive enforcement operations targeting known gangs, drug dealers, and criminal networks to get them the hell off the street, maybe get them out of the country, because a lot of them came into our country illegally. They shouldn't have been allowed in. They come from Venezuela. They come from all over the world. We're going to get them the hell out. They won't be here long. But some of these people, a lot of them, are homegrown criminals. And these are bad people. These are rough people. And this is just a list of some of the people that were given to me today that were criminals removed from the D.C. streets this weekend. They were rough and tough. But we're rougher and tougher. Look at these people here. Nothing, they're not going to be your local school teacher. Look at this guy. He has killed people numerous times. They're not going to be an asset. They will never be an asset to society. I don't care. I know we all want to say, oh, they're going to be rehabbed. It's not going to be rehabbed. I'm going to ask Doug Burgum to come up and say a couple of words because he's in charge, as you know. He's Interior, but he's in charge of the U.S. Park Police. And I've heard so many great things about the Park Police. They're proud of it. They've been there for a long time. Their families oftentimes grow into the roles. They love the country. They love this area. So, Doug, could you say a few words, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the U.S. Park Police, this is the oldest federal police force in the nation. They were formed in 1791 by none other than President George Washington. They've got the awesome responsibility of protecting our nation's most sacred monuments, the National Mall, Washington Monument, Jefferson Memorial.
Clear. Crime in D.C. is ending and ending today. We are going to use every power we have to fight criminals here. President, thank you for caring about our capital. Families come here every summer. Our museums are free. We have the National Zoo. We have the National Gallery. D.C. should be a place where everyone can come and feel safe. Behind me and to my side, we have some of the best career law enforcement and prosecutors in the country who are ready to take this on. As the president said, Terry Cole is going to be supervising the Metro Police Department. Yadi Saralta, our U.S. Marshal, is going to be supervising command and control, the entire operation.
Steve Posey, if you have an iPhone, by the way, you can go into your settings on your calls. Once you do that, you can hit block unknown callers. And all that's, well, not all of the spam, but most of it gets blocked through that filter, and you don't even get it. That's what I do. Just so you know. And I still get fucked up, of course, but imagine if you don't have that on.
Our Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, and I will be working with them closely, along with our great FBI Director, Kash Patel. Kash is going to talk to you in a minute about what we did in Virginia recently with Governor Youngkin. Many of you covered that, and it was tremendously successful. Not only that, our secret weapon here in D.C.
Real quick, I really appreciate that. Brother Steve Easy coming in and saying, hit the like. Yes, sir, by the way. The world might blow, but Brother Mike is on point. Hey, man, I very much appreciate that, kind sir. Thank you for that.
Is U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro, one of the toughest prosecutors and a former judge, and she is going to be talking about juvenile crime, how it's out of control here, and what she's going to do to fight back. No more crime rampant in our beautiful capital. No more teenage girls beating a disabled man to death. No more of that. No more drive-bys. We're going to do everything we can.
Okay, that should be in all of the United States. I mean, I respect that what they're doing, essentially, but do this across all the land.
And working with
without all the fucking, we don't necessarily, like even Trump said, we don't necessarily need more cops. Right? He even said that with the whole 3,500 thing. He kind of contradicted himself with that. But you don't need more cops. They just need to be able to do their fucking job. And these sanctuary cities make it fucking impossible for the cops to do anything. You know what I mean?
ATF Director Driscoll and Commander of the Army. We're going to all work together. That's what we all do in this room. We work together. We fight.
Out there,
do not
Steve.
underestimate one person in this room. We're going to make D.C. beautiful. We're going to make D.C. safe again. One other thing, just at the...
Real quick, get some... My man, great to see you, by the way. Always appreciate you.
Wharf, a few days ago, the area of the wharf, Terry Cole reached out to me, not even nightfall, on the weekend, where so many families and tourists go. A guy's overdosing from fentanyl on a park bench. In the middle of families around. They administer Narcan and saved his life. No more of that. The President of the United States is going to clean up D.C., and we're going to be there to help him, and we're going to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Cash, talk about Northern Virginia. Northern
Here
Virginia,
comes
we had
Cash.
a big success.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for your leadership, Deputy Attorney General, and the rest of our interagency partners. Mr. President, the following is what happens when you let good cops be cops, and I just want to highlight that before I get into Northern Virginia. This year alone, under President Trump's administration, we've had over 4,000 child victims identified and found. That's a 33% increase from the same time period last year. 33% increase. We've had a seizure of 1,500 kilograms of fentanyl up to this date. That is a 25% increase since the same time period last year. And just to put it in perspective, 1,500 kilograms of fentanyl is enough to kill 115 million Americans. 115 million Americans. Cops are getting after it. The FBI has arrested 19,000.
Real quick, Brother Code coming in with the 5 gifted memberships. Yo, my man. Thank you, kind sir, for the huge donation there. I very much appreciate that, kind sir, for making it rain on us. Always appreciate you. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning with us so far. We got my man Fester up there. He's saying, good afternoon, y'all. I'm in the loony bin. Depression is mother. Hey, man, I get you, bro. It's all good, man. Hopefully you're enjoying as much as you can in the morning, man. It's hard, especially on a Monday, you know what I mean, usually. But we're trying to make it a little better for everybody, you know?
People this year alone. Thanks to President Trump's administration, that's double than where we were this time last year. And we have also arrested 1,600 people who have committed violent acts against children. 270 of them are human traffickers of children. Mr. President, this is what happens when you have great leadership at the Attorney General with Pam Bondi. Your administration's priority of protecting the homeland and protecting American citizens and protecting our children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities. And how do we do it? And what are we going to bring to D.C.? What we did in Northern Virginia, thanks to Terry Cole and Governor Youngkin and the team, we stood up a task force out in my Northern Virginia field office, and we said, let's let good cops be cops, let's get them the intelligence and what they need, and let's get the red tape out of their way, and let's get DOJ partnered up with us to bring great prosecutions. And that's exactly what we did. In 1 month, we arrested 545 violent.
Well, that's very true, Get Some. The cops can only do as much as what they're allowed to do, what they're told to do. And you're right about that. I mean, look at how that shit worked out in the LAPD and shit like that. They won't do anything until the mayor gives them the order. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way it fucking works. But yeah, I guess people don't understand. It gets deeper than just that, just cops. It's got to be actual, like, whether it be legislation, better judges, DAs, like you were saying. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Real quick, we got Fester coming in, gifting out a membership, even though he's in the Looney Bin. You know what I mean? I really appreciate you for donating and hanging out with us this morning, man. Great to see you.
Violent felons, 545 in the state of Virginia, thanks to Governor Youngkin's partnership. And that simplicity in law enforcement is what's coming to Washington, D.C. When you let good cops be cops, when you give them the intel they need, when you work with our Homeland Security Task Force, when you work with Terry and Gaddy and I go way back to Miami, these guys are great leaders of the respective departments and law enforcement capacities. And when you have the DOJ and President Trump driving behind this mission, we are going to clean up Washington, D.C. And we're going to do it the right way, the lawful way, and we're going to make sure Washington, D.C. is safe again. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Attorney General.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Cash. So the process begins right now. It actually started over the weekend, and we confronted a lot of very bad people. But it's going to be something that will be pretty amazing to you as you watch it. And I think most of you say it's a beautiful thing to do it right. We're going to be removing homeless encampments from all over our parks, our beautiful, beautiful parks, which now a lot of people can't walk on. They're very dirty, we got a lot of problems. But we've already started that. We're moving the encampments away, trying to take care of people. Some of those people, we don't know how they even got there.
What's up, Aaron Ra? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning. Great to see you.
Some of those people are from different countries, different parts of the world. Nobody knows who they are. They have no idea, but they're there. We're getting rid of the people from underpasses and public spaces from all over the city. There are many places that they can go, and we're going to help them as much as you can help. But they'll not be allowed to turn our capital into a wasteland for the world to see. The Metropolitan Police Department and the federal authorities will be supported in the effort, a really big effort, the 800 D.C. National Guardsmen that we'll put on, and much more if necessary, much more. You remember I said, I offered 10,000 once. Remember I said to a certain person who I thought always was highly overrated, not very competent. But I said, if you need them, we'll give you 10,000 of the military or the National Guard. They turned me down. But if necessary, we're going to move service members directly to joining the Guardsmen. And that'll take place very rapidly, and that'll be done in conjunction with Pam and with Pete and everybody else. Washington, D.C. should be one of the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful cities anywhere in the world. And we're going to make it that. We're going to make it safe. We're going to make it smart. We're going to make it beautiful. So beautiful. Some of the buildings, we're going to add to it. You see what we've done at the White House. White House is a whole different building. I do that in my part-time because it's a natural instinct as a real estate person. I was very good at that, and I was very good at fixing things up. I like fixing things up. You see what's happening. The marble floors are being reinstalled, renovated, fixed. The whole place is becoming very beautiful. We're going to be adding a magnificent ballroom, most beautiful ballroom, I think, anywhere.
What's up, Brennan? Good morning.
I would have certainly loved to have had it today.
Great to
I think
see
we
you.
would have filled it up. A lot of you are standing outside, can't get in this room. I've never seen the room like this, which tells me that you want to talk about, I mean, this was a D.C. news conference. It tells me that you want to talk about crime in D.C. and beautification of D.C., but I'm going to put that's easy. And I think, frankly, fixing the crime with the pros, fixing the crime is easy, too. A person who I've known for a long time, and she's been incredible. She was a fantastic, one of the best ever district attorneys in New York. She was in Westchester, and she became a judge, very successful judge. And then she went into show business because she was such a good DA and such a good judge, tough judge, but fair, always fair. Nobody ever complained about that, but she was tough. And because of that and her reputation, she went into show business. So a lot of people don't, they think of Janine as show business. Actually, show business was not her thing. And she did great. She was on, along with a couple of other of my friends, on the #1 show. And she did great, but this is what she loves doing. This is really her baby. What she's going to do is going to be incredible. And I'd like to speak for just a few seconds on what she has in mind, what she wants to do. We're going to be appointing some judges. We have some open spots, and we're going to take people, because the judges are letting killers out. They just say...
Right. That's exactly what Get Some was also getting at as well.
Go. That's okay. Don't worry about it. So we're putting some... Pam recommended, Todd recommended, some judges that are great. Janine recommended. Janine's given me 3 great candidates already. We have about 10 open spots, and we can probably create some more. We need them. Janine, would you say a few words, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, Madam Attorney General, and to all my partners here. We all want the same thing. We all want a safe city. We want a safe capital. We want to be able to bring our families here. We want to be able to come and enjoy the history that makes this place great. And unfortunately, we are not in that position right now. And Mr. President, I want to thank you for taking the step that we need right now to make criminals understand that they are not going to get away with it anymore. And I'm not going to stand here and go over and over the cases. But what I can tell you is this. I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest. Intent to kill? I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college. We need to go after the D.C. Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens. And it starts today. But it's not going to end today because the president is going to do everything we need to do to make sure that these emboldened criminals understand we see you, we're watching you, and we're going to change the law to catch you. And my final note is this. These kids understand that the jurisdiction is through the state attorney general, Brian Schwab. I did a poster of the young man from Doge who was beaten bloody with a severe concussion, a broken nose. And then I did a poster of what happens to those kids because I can't arrest them. I can't prosecute them. They go to family court and they get to do yoga and arts and crafts. Enough. It changes today. Thank you, Mr. President. You're welcome.
Shit. Real quick, we got Dragon Classy up in the building as well. Good to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning. Great to see you. Real quick, she's a badass fear little woman. The smaller they are, the meaner they are. That's a fact, bro. That is absolutely a fact.
If I could, I just signed some executive orders. I'd like to have Will please come up and we'll let the people know what we signed. Do you want to put them down?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
A short while ago in the Oval Office, President Trump signed 2 crucial executive actions to deal with the emergency crime conditions we currently face in the District of Columbia. The first of these was an executive order, as President Trump said before, invoking his powers under Section 40 of the Home Rule Act to take federal control of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Along with that executive order, President Trump signed the statutorily required notification letters to Mayor Bowser and to the relevant House and Senate committee leaders. The second major executive action that President Trump signed was a presidential memorandum directing the Secretary of Defense to utilize the National Guard to address the conditions we see on our streets here in D.C. It also authorized the Secretary of Defense to work with state governors to utilize their National Guard units if necessary as well. These are bold, decisive steps intended to combat the out-of-control crime conditions we've seen on D.C. streets for far too long, and I, for one, am deeply proud to be part of an administration that's finally coming to terms with these issues, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you. So, just to conclude, Washington...
Oh, wow. He's not going to have Pete Hegseth go up there and talk? I'm surprised, actually, even though he really has no super place to be talking. Super place. His focus is elsewhere. You know what I mean? But I know Trump is definitely giving as much airtime and mic time to his administration as he can, because that is what politicians do. I mean, they're catering to the camera. They're all fighting to get on the mic. You know what I mean? Or at least, if you're not going to speak, at least get in the frame shot. Get behind Trump or something like that. You know what I mean?
In D.C. should be one of the safest, cleanest, most beautiful places anywhere in the world. It was years ago. We had one problem that was a pretty big problem. The radical left got out of control and they started trying to rip down statues. And I said, let's go pass a law real fast. We're going to do it real fast. But we were blocked by the Democrats who do not want safety. Nobody gets it. I don't get it. They don't get it because they can't get votes. I don't know how they can win an election with this, but they don't want safety. And I found an old statute, very old, early 1900s, that said if you so much as touch or even think about destroying a statue or a monument in Washington, D.C., you go to...
That should be like anywhere, bro. You destroy any... At that point, I look at that shit as like a statue. Guess what? That's federal property, bro. You're destroying federal property at this point. Yeah, you should fucking get charged. Yeah, that's what I think. Absolutely. You know what I mean? But that should be everywhere, not just in D.C., bro.
Jail for 10 years with no probation, no anything. It was slightly different than we have today. Today we have cashless bail. Today you get jail 10 years. No curtailed sentence, 10 years. And we took it out. Nobody used it. It was never used because, it was harsh. And you remember they started to rip down the statue of Abraham Lincoln. I said, that's a tough one to rip down. He was pretty good, Pam. I think he was pretty good. When the rope started going around Abraham Lincoln to pull him down, Andrew Jackson, others, and they were heading to the Jefferson Memorial, Thomas Jefferson. They're going to do a big number there. I said, it's time.
That's right, Dragon Classy. Hit the like, everyone.
I signed that statute.
Thank you, guys.
We had it updated. We made it use the same language, all passed by Congress. And I announced it's 10 years in jail, no probation, no anything, 10 years, no curtail sentence if you touch so much as touch a statue in Washington, D.C. And it was an amazing sight, beautiful sight. Everybody just left. The ropes were hanging around Andrew Jackson, and there were 2 ropes around Abraham Lincoln. They left the rope, but everybody just left. And that was the last problem we ever had. You know, that was the last problem that we ever had with the statues. They were going wild. And somebody came to me and said, sir, in 1910, I don't want to give you an exact, because you'll say, Donald Trump gave us wrong dates around like early on. You know, if I'm slightly off, they make you sound a little bad. So I won't put myself in that position. I won't put you in that position, because I think everybody agrees with what we're doing today. But when I signed that thing, it was like a miracle. Everybody left. They were gone. They were starting to march down. They started the march toward Thomas Jefferson. And I figured he was always going to be safe. But they found something with him, and they found something with Abraham Lincoln. And even in the name George Washington in California, numerous places changed the name of George Washington High School and various other places. They took George Washington's name. This was a sick, woke culture that I think we've largely ended. And a lot of those people that were woke are now turning out to be the opposite.
Which is true. Him and his influence has definitely helped in that region. Absolutely.
I won't go so far as to say MAGA. It's a very special category. But
the pushback was much needed against that extreme woke. It was insane. I mean, now it's tamed down a little bit compared to what it was. That's for damn sure, because there was finally this pushback. And, you know, places like YouTube started to allow us to speak again, you know, shit like that. That was because of Trump's influence. Absolutely.
They've gotten out of that. But we have people that love this
What's
country.
What's up, Bill Castle? Good morning. Great to see you.
Capital.
Over there in Washington
the other day and I said, what a beautiful place. But if there's crime all over the streets, when you get there, it doesn't look so beautiful. But we're going to make it beautiful again. We're going to fix it with crime, and we're going to also, as we're doing that, we're going to start doing things that we know how to do, that I know how to do better than anybody, I guess, because of my experience from previous life. But not only are we stopping the crime, we're going to clean up the trash and the graffiti and the grime and the dirt and the broken marble panels and all of the things they've done to hurt this city. And we're going to restore the city back to the gleaming capital that everybody wants it to be. It's going to be something very special. All of these people are really tough. Could I shake your hand, Gaddy, please? You're going to be so important here. You're going to be that guy. I hope I don't have to fire him in 2 weeks because he's too soft. I don't think he's too soft. If I do, I will, though. Is it okay? If you're soft, weak, and pathetic, like so many people, I will fire you so fast. You're not going to have to worry about that. No, I think you're going to do a fantastic job. And everybody in this room, they may not express it, but they all want that to happen. You know, they want to be safe, and they have families, too. So it's an honor to have such a large group. I've done this for years now, hard to believe. I've never seen this room so packed. In fact, I'm sure it's a violation of every fire code. But we'll let you stay anyway. You take it a chance. And with that, we'll say, maybe if you could, oh, wow. We could be here all day long. If we could keep the first questions, perhaps, to this subject, and then we'll go into a few others.
We don't need to go into questions. We definitely don't need to sit there and do that. We presented exactly what the story was and what was going on there. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you guys enough for your guys' kind donations today, the ones that you guys sent money. I very much appreciate you guys contributing to the channel, man. It goes way further than people even really understand, man. Especially if you're not trying to do this full time, of course. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. Hopefully everyone enjoys the rest of their Monday morning and, well, at this point, almost, for me, afternoon, almost. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only mortal can bestow. refusing to submit.